Getting a deal on an electric car now is easier than it's ever been because, well, now we have some used electric cars that go down in price and you can get one for almost any budget. I'm going to tell you about few different budgets and types of deals that you can get. We're going to start with $5,000 budget, then go to 15, 30, and even 50. Now, I know you're probably thinking, $50,000 is a lot of money, but you can still get really good deals for that type of money. So I'll tell you about some places where you can get it and what you can get. That's essentially is the question. Now, before that, let me be very clear that when you're getting a new car, either leasing or buying, you're qualified most likely, depending on where you live, for some incentives. So, for example, here in the United States, you can get up to $7,500 in federal tax. Now, that is going down to some manufacturers. To almost under $2,000, and it's going to go away in another few months for some manufacturers like Tesla and Chevy, and Nissan is probably going to be next, so you might want to consider that. But also there are incentives from the local governments, like state rebates. Here in California, it's about $2,500, but there are some states that, like Colorado, have $5,000 rebates. And on top of that, a lot of times your utility company will throw a few $100 your way, either just a check, or they will help you with installation and provide a charging station for your house or the place where you're going to charge. So consider that. And of course, outside of the United States, there's Canada, and there are also incentives in different provinces. And of course, Europe and other places in the world, governments do provide incentives. So please look into that and figure out what kind of perks you get for what kind of cars, because it also varies between different cars depending on the size of a battery in some cases. That way you can understand that if you are going to buy a new or lease a new car, what kind of perks and incentives you're going to get. One more thing, in the United States, here in some countries, you also get a carpool sticker if your car qualifies, which means, you can just drive in a carpool lane by yourself. It is a big deal to some people. All right, so let's get started, and we're going to start with $5,000 budget. Yes, it's first of all, it's possible now, right? That was not even a conversation 2-3 years ago, but now you can get not much, but you can get a Nissan Leaf, the first generation. Yes, it is not very pretty. It is pretty ugly. Let's just be honest with you. I've always been honest about this car being not the looker, and you're not gonna even get the full range that it used to have, and it used to have about 80 miles. A car like this. So here's a good ad that I found on Craigslist. This is unfortunately you can't see the mileage, but I believe it has 63,000 miles, so not too bad. As you probably know, electric cars go way past the gas cars as far as how far they can go, because there's just not that many parts to break. There's essentially a motor and a battery. Now, yes, these cars had problems with battery degradation, and that's what you're probably going to get. The owner will probably let you know what kind of battery range you're going to get. Now, in a car like this, it's 2011. Realistically, you'll have 40-50 usable miles, and I gotta tell you, it's probably not going to be great for your primary car, but if it's a secondary car or a bit of a commuter car to pick up your kids from school or go to work and back, that may just be more than enough. I have a Chevy Bolt, which is a plug-in hybrid, and my electric range is only about 40 miles. And I got to tell you, I rarely use gas on a daily basis. I go in and out a lot of my house, and a lot of times I have a chance to recharge here. So my range really goes a long way. Some of you have charging stations at the places of work where you can charge, or the shopping centers, so that extends the range as well. So 40-50 miles may just be what you're looking for. Now, I do want to make a note that this may make a great car for your kid. If your kid is 16, 17 or 18 and you're buying him or her a car, this is not a bad deal, because one, it's cheap, you don't have to pay much for maintenance or gas. But on top of that, your kid can't really drive very far, right? Because if you get them a gas car, they can drive as far as, the gas stations exist, which is basically anywhere. But with an electric car, you can't go that far. So that's a bit of a perk. So this is the type of car you can get for $5,000. But let's move on to the next stage, which is $15,000, and you can get something better than the Nissan Leaf with a longer range. And so let's start with the BMW i3. Now, let me also mention that BMW i3s come in two different types, just pure plug-in electric and plug-in hybrid. You know, they call it an extender, but whatever. You know, it's, you can also use gas. And you can get one for also very, very affordable price. Here's one for $15,000, and this has less than 50,000 miles on it, and it has a gas extender. And to me, it's a perk. You know, of course, you want to drive an electric range. That's what it's all about. But if you have to go on a long a trip and you don't want to, you know, wait for charging and stuff like that, and I don't, this is a great deal. So under 50,000 miles, this is a BMW, $15,000. So this is a great deal, and I've seen quite a few of them. This is not one-off. You know, all of these ads I'm showing you, these are just examples. I've seen multiple of these, and they all have clean titles. That's another thing I want to mention. None of them are salvage titles. These are just what the market is for this car. Again, I'm not a big fan of the way this car looks, but there are a lot of people who really like it. Again, at this price range, maybe you can be choosers, but again, you know, you don't forget that it's not just about the price when it comes to electric car. It's also about how much money you save by not having to do oil changes, especially at this stage of the mileage, right? Or transmission fluid, whatever the hell, I don't even remember, and definitely not having to buy gas. So this is a pretty good deal, $15,000 for this car. All right, now let's move on to $30,000 dollar budget, and this is where, you know, most people can still afford it, but for this you can buy a pretty decent car with a pretty decent range. I should probably mention that the range on this BMW realistically would also be about 60 or 70 miles, which is more than the Leaf we're talking about, and probably is pretty decent for daily driver or maybe even full-time driving car. So but now we're going to be talking about cars with some decent range and some cars that you can buy brand new. All right, before that, a quick reminder that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out their all-electric SUV coming to the US and Europe, starting at only $45,000, 45,000 euros. But look how fast and easy it is to reserve one. About 30 seconds of your time, mainly because you don't see the deposit form, because it takes $0 to put your deposit down and reserve one. So go to the description of this video and reserve your Byton today. All right, let's move on to $30,000 dollar mark. And okay, so like I said, there will be some options here. Now, I just recently drove a 2020 Bolt, and this is one of the newer colors. And again, not a big fan of the shape of the exterior, but a lot of people are. I mean, it is a hatchback. It's a compact hatchback, so there's only much you can ask. But if you're okay with that, you can get some really good deals at 30 or even under $30,000. And here's one of them. This is one of the dealerships, and this deal is available in a lot of places. You can see there's $10,000 off of this car. We're talking about $28,000, and you can see if you go into lease it, there's some allowances to bring this price down even more. So we're talking about this car that has about what, 239 miles in range, 238 miles in range. So realistic range is 200 to 220. Now we're talking about full-time driving car, right? And brand new car. And don't forget that if you qualify for the incentives, that's about under $2,000 in the US. Maybe your state incentives. So we're talking about this car is getting closer to $20,000 brand new, and you don't have to gas this car. So if you're interested, this is a great time to buy. And this is another, you know, kind of a common sense a tip here, is that, you know, if this is the end of the year, as far as sales are concerned, the dealerships are getting 2020 cars, and this is a time. And if you're buying a car from a conventional car dealer, not Tesla, but like Chevy or so forth, they will have this amazing deals on the previous models. You know, as in this case, 2020 Bolt has only about extra 20 miles in range. Everything else is pretty much the same, plus a couple of different colors, the one that I showed you earlier. So it's essentially the same car with the same range, and this is a great deal. We're talking about, you know, after incentives, about $22,000, $23,000, and you can lease it. And by the way, when you lease the car, the incentives are built in right into the lease, so you don't have to wait to do your taxes like next year and so forth. That's pretty instant. Now, another car you might want to consider, brand new, and again, they're making deals right now on them. This is a Nissan Leaf. This is a new Nissan Leaf that actually, I like the way it looks. Also a compact SUV, but it looks better than Bolt if you ask me. And this is its regular price, $29,995 usually. That's a starting price for this one. It goes about 161 miles. Now you can get a plus version that will go 225 miles, but obviously you're going to have to pay $8,000-9,000 more. It's up to you, but this is under $30,000. Again, Nissan has, I believe, still a full $7,500 tax credit. And on top of that, your state credit. So you can essentially get this car for about $20,000. Right now, they're running $1,000 off a special from what I understand, but I would still wait for the dealerships to try to get rid of this year's model as they're getting the next one. There shouldn't be any difference for this particular car. So I can see how this car can be had, dare I say, under $20,000 after incentives, depending where you live. So that's another deal you can get. Now, we have not mentioned Tesla once, but we are in the price range where you can get a Tesla. That's right, for $30,000 you can get one. And so I'm going to show you a few ads, and here's one of them. Now this is from a private party. Again, it's not salvage title or anything like that. It's got about 59,000 miles on it, and it's at $30,000. It is a 60 kilowatt hour battery, which means that realistically, even if the battery didn't do well, you'll still get 150 miles of actual realistic range. It is a Tesla, and because it's what I believe it's 2013, it will have unlimited supercharger that can be transferred to the new owner. So now you get free electricity, especially when you go on long trips. Be careful with some of them. At that time, I believe that was an option for Tesla, so some of them may not have a supercharger on board. So make sure that it does have that. But it's a Tesla for $30,000 with under 60,000 miles. And this is something you can find. Now, let me tell you where you can find also really good deals, and it's on Tesla's inventory side. That's where they come with warranty. It depends on how many miles on the car, but it's for older cars, as I believe it's right now, up to 100,000 miles and a 2-year extra warranty. By the way, all of them have the battery warranty, I believe, of 8 years, 100,000 miles. But the ones that are relatively old, I think it's unlimited miles with 8-year warranty. Again, check depending on the car, but those warranties, especially in the beginning, are very strong and kind of like really good deal now that they're older. Now, there's some really amazing deals you can get from the inventory page on Tesla.com. You do have to wait for them and check for them a few times a day, but I have found some really amazing ones. So here's one. This is 2014, and it's 85 kilowatt hour battery. So this should have a range of 250 miles, realistic miles. Yes, it's almost at 100,000, but again, we're talking about what, less than $32,000. Black color, which is also pretty much independent for these cars. Here's another one, also very similar. This is a performance one, which is insane that you can have it for pretty much same price, only a few $1,000s less, but this is under $30,000, 95,000 miles. Don't forget, these cars, even though expensive to fix once something breaks down, not much should break down as far as the powertrain is concerned, and this car would still have, I believe, a warranty, but please do check as far as the battery is concerned. Here's another deal that I found, and this is also under 30,000. This is back to the 60 kilowatt hour battery. This should have unlimited supercharging, and however, be careful, because sometimes Tesla does this where they take away the free supercharging once they get a possession of the car, and then you don't get it anymore. 72,000 miles, that means it qualifies, and it will come with 100,000 mile warranty, 2-year warranty. At least that's, again, please check, because I don't know when you're going to be watching this video. Things change with Tesla all the time. But again, under $30,000. So as you can see, there's so many choices right now, but let's get to a $50,000 price range, and there are some good deals, and of course we're going to continue with Tesla, and this is again from their inventory site. This is a new body style, right? So this is new front of the car. This is 70 kilowatt hour battery, dual motor, under 60,000. So this one's still qualified for, I believe, 4-year 100,000 mile warranty, and only $45,000. That's not a bad deal. That's one of the better deals, especially for the new front end. And another Tesla that I found, this was a while back, only 10,000 miles on this one. $47,000 in a beautiful red color. So that's another deal. These are not very common, so you have to wait for these deals. Now, another car that I haven't mentioned, but I would definitely recommend that you would look into it, and it is a Jaguar I-Pace. There's some really amazing deals to be had, because for some reason, somehow this car is not being sold very well. And you know, this picture was literally taken yesterday. This is yet another Jaguar lot where this I-Paces are stashed, and there are quite a few reports out there that I've seen in the last few months where somehow they're not able to sell it. So the deals that they're providing on these cars that, by the way, do have the $7,500 credit are amazing. So let's look at this one. And this is not even the cheapest one. I just wanted to get the best discount, which is over $10,000 here. But you can have one for as low as like $51,000 or $52,000. And that is before the incentives. So if you add all of the incentives you can possibly have, and especially if in the right state, you can have a car like this for about $40,000 to $42,000. Brand new Jag. These cars have about, you know, realistically about 200-mile range, which is great. And these are Jaguars. If you lease one, the $7,500 credit is pretty much going to be built in. They have some 0% APR lease deals right now. They're really trying to get rid of them. So, and again, they're probably going to have more of these deals as they're trying to get rid of the inventory going into 2020. So I would take advantage. This can be one of the best deals you can get on a luxury brand new electric car. So that's pretty much what I have for you. Again, please use Craigslist. There's also AutoTrader, and they're a pretty good website. And of course, Tesla inventory website, and the websites of your local dealers, because they will have local deals just for your area. So check into it. It is some work that you have to put in there, but I think the rewards are worth it. And as you can see, you can get some really good deals all over the place. This is not the video I would be able to make a couple of years ago, guys. So I'm really excited. Don't forget to join our free VIP list, and you can find the link in the description of this video. We send bonus stories every Saturday, something that just I wasn't able to fit into the agenda for the daily videos that I make on this channel or on our e4electric.com website. So they will just come straight to your inbox absolutely for free. All right, let me know if I missed something. If you know other ways how you can get a deal on an electric car, if you've seen something that I haven't, please put it in the description in the comment section of this video. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged.